You may have to bring
I'm missing out.
You are. Yeah, they're delightful.
Are crumble cookies a fruit of the Spirit?
They're the way to my heart.
How do I not know them? Are they famous? I don't know them. We could put them in a place of honor. I should hang out with Laura more. Then I would know crumble cookies. They're not a local place. Are they a local place?
Now that's local, yeah. Yes.
All right, I'm going to investigate. We can't spend our sermon time, though, talking about crumble cookies. That is not what we're worshiping. Much to Laura's chagrin. She's on the sinner's side. There you go. She's not even here and I'm making fun of her. Oh my gosh. I need to bring peace. Peace. I want to tell you a story about way back before I went to seminary. Terry and I were members of St. Luke Lutheran Church in Beckley, West Virginia. That's where he lived when we met and where our first house was when we got married and all that jazz. I lived in West Virginia for 7 years. Terry didn't live there that long, but that's where I met the Yankee from New Jersey that I married. My mom always said that we only got together because we were the only two Yankees down there. But she said, "You'll be sorry." She might be right. Okay, maybe not. It's okay. But anyway, why was I telling you that? Oh, because we were members of St. Luke ADHD. Squirrel. Anyhow, we were the voting members to the Synod Assembly. And I knew what Synod Assemblies were. And in case you don't know, a little history about the way the ELCA and our congregations work. We, at Trinity here, for example, are members of a conference. And we are members of the Hanover Conference. So we work together with congregations, and there's a collegial pastor group, of which Pastor Biles is a part of too. He is a retired member of it. And we meet roughly once a month, except for in the summertime, and we do conference business that's sort of regional-ish, and we do some collaborations, and we gain information from the Synod, which is the next level, which is a section of the state of Pennsylvania. We belong to the Lower Susquehanna Synod, and we have talked about the Synod Assembly here a lot, so that's the group that assembles. It's over 200 congregations. We meet once a year. We do things like elect the local bishop, have all kinds of other businessy things, et cetera, et cetera. And the Synod is part of a region, and we're part of Region 8, and so the Region 8 bishops get together and do church business on that level. And then the regions are part of the ELCA, which is the national church. I should have made you a diagram, right? So anyway, here's me and Terry. I've been a lifelong Lutheran, but to be really honest, I hadn't been a member of a Lutheran church in many, many years. I left my hometown when I was 17 and went to college, and then I went to grad school, and throughout all those 7 years, I spent my time exploring my religion. I never left Christianity, but I was Methodist for a while, I was Presbyterian for a while, I hung out at the Newman Center on campus and thought about being Catholic. I needed to figure out, even past my confirmation, whether or not I was a Lutheran. Turns out I am. Turns out I am. So that was my history. Terry was Roman Catholic, became Lutheran, like at Pentecost, which was the end of May, and the next weekend got to be the voting member at the Synod Assembly. So it was a lifelong Lutheran who experimented all over the place and newbie. We had no status whatsoever, never been to a Synod Assembly. I sang at one in 8th grade when my congregation's choir went to celebrate something. Otherwise, I'd never even been at a location where there wasn't a Synod Assembly. So we're complete newbies, right? We have no idea what we're doing. We're there with our pastor, who incidentally had just become Lutheran. She was kind of synodically authorized to care for St. Luke in Beckley. She hadn't even been ordained yet. She had been Southern Baptist, worked as a prison chaplain, became Lutheran, and was in seminary. She's this close to finishing. She had been approved for ordination and all that jazz and was assigned to the church. And anyway, so she's also new. So we meet in the middle of West Virginia because there's nothing there. I mean, it's like the whole state's a state park. It's gorgeous, but there are no things. So we meet in the middle of the state. We're all at a day's inn, so nobody's familiar with anything. We're in this huge ballroom, and my suggestion is, let's sit back here. So we're close to the hallway, which I'm thinking is my escape route. Terry, at that point in our relationship, would have done anything I asked, so he was good with it. And Pastor Wanda was good with it too, because I don't know that it mattered to her. Well, our representative from that great big way high up church, the national church, was the presiding bishop, whose name was Mark Hansen. You guys would be familiar with Bishop Hansen, now also well retired. Unbelievable story. We are literally in the back of this ballroom with our sandwiches, talking about how bad they are, because the Days Inn is not that great. Well, there, anyway, back then. This is like 1999, I think. Ish, yeah. Anyway, we're there, quietly talking, out of our element, excited to be there, not knowing what's going on, having no clue about anything. And doesn't he come over and sit at our table? Like I expected him to be with the synod bishop and the synod council and all the well-known pastors. You know, all those guys who walk around in black with the collar on? Yeah. No, he came over and he sat down and my mouth went instantly dry. Because how do you talk to the presiding bishop when you have just rejoined the Lutheran Church and your husband's a Catholic and your pastor is a Baptist? I had no... Anyway, this was also in the midst of our fertility stuff. Somehow we get on the topic of conversation about children. Yeah, we're having some trouble having them. Bishop Mark Hansen has 3 adopted children. Did you know that? There's a point of information. Very exciting, isn't it? Yeah. So he tells us all about it. Well, Terry's adopted, so he tells him all about it. He says, rather prophetically, you'll be parents, and I'll run into you again. I want to hear about it. And don't think I'll forget, because I won't. We were so honored. I couldn't tell you anything else about the business of that day. All we could talk about was that we had eaten lunch with the presiding bishop, and he talked to us like a pastor personally. Talk about being honored. I mean, really, unbelievably honored. So years go by. Many years go by. I've graduated seminary. I'm serving the church in Biglerville. Terry's in seminary. Bishop Mark Hansen, around the time of his retirement, is at the seminary for something. I couldn't tell you what. I don't remember. Convocation, something. I have no idea what. Terry and I are in the chapel. We see that Bishop Hansen's there. Terry says to me, I'm going to go shake his hand. He'll never remember us. I said, you're probably right. I said, that was still a great day, wasn't that? Brings back all this memory. By now, of course, we've got Luke. Terry says, he's got to know. I said, he's never going to remember. Before we even approach him, doesn't he come walking down the center aisle of their chapel, shakes Terry's hand and says, I bet you think I forgot you. Terry didn't even say, hi, Bishop. He said, we have a son. Now I'm going to cry. Talk about being honored. We are nobodies. nobodies. And I tell you that story because guess what we all are? Saint and sinner. We're nobodies. We are the creature that God made. Nobodies. And in the cross of Christ, we have an invite to the banquet table. And if you think I was surprised that Mark Hansen didn't forget us, how much more do you think our Heavenly Father remembers us and holds our place? And every one of those spots is a place of honor in a home where only God belongs. And yet we're invited. And it doesn't just go for our future. It doesn't just go for heaven. You know, we tend to be a futuristic faith. Oh, when I croak, I'm going to the better place. And that's not wrong. It's not wrong. But it's also not all. It's also not all. And this is where peace plays a role. That God who invites us to that table that we have no right to sit at is here. Here. That's what Emmanuel means. God with us. That's why Christ was born. To be present. And not even to be honored, but to come and serve us by giving his life. That's how deeply we are loved, is that God goes out of his way to honor us. This parable that Jesus tells us that if we are going to be in the image of God, we're going to be the ones honoring people we don't think deserve it. Because that's how deep and wide and prophetic and holy God's grace is. This parable reminds us of how much we are loved and also calls us to love in the same way. I often think of Bishop Hansen, and I absolutely do not have his gift. Instead, I'm more like, I should know you. Sometimes I hope that's enough, that I recognize the face, sort of. But with whatever gift we have, we are called to bring that peace and that grace to everybody we meet. In Jesus' world, even more than ours, it was a culture of honor. So that's why that parable fits really well for them. But a like one might be if we think about being neighborly, being gracious, listening to one another even when we deeply disagree, caring for one another even when we absolutely disapprove, and keeping our mouths shut. I'm learning that with Luke. I appreciate your advice, Mom, but I'm a grown-up now. You know? Learning to keep my mouth shut. And give him the little place of honor a young man deserves. Or doesn't sometimes. Yeah. Jesus is showing us how to love. By loving us first. Amen. Now let's sing together. Oh, hang on, I lost my page. 522.